I'm broke as So on this episode of Broke Fit Girl, I wanted to really just share in my insight of growing up being fat. Just really just throwing it all out there. And I just like to coin this episode as Confessions of a Former Fat Girl, because that was me. I still even identify myself as a former plus size woman, former fat girl, fatty, whatever you want to call it. At first it was hard for me to own that, because I mean, for the longest, fat had such a negative connotation when it's said, but because now I feel like it's becoming more acceptable, people are embracing it, and at one point I had to embrace my fatness. So I just really wanted to share some insight of what it was like growing up, being bigger, even into adulthood, just some of those trials and tribulations that I had to go through while being overweight. So I wanted to share some of that with you. Please bear with me, because this is really going to be tough. Like, sharing these experiences of being insecure, being bullied, doubting myself, hating the way I look. It was a lot, so it may bring up a lot of emotions for me. So I just wanted to, I guess this is my disclaimer before. So if you see me getting choked up, or you see me getting a little teary-eyed, that's because speaking about this for the first time is really going to be a challenge. So to deal with the bullying and noticing I was different at a young age, I know it made me cling more to food, who I would say is like my best friend. Even today, I still love food. But growing up overweight, food and me were just tit for tat. I remember getting in trouble as young as really 5-6 years old, like sneaking food out the refrigerator. Everybody always monitoring how much I ate. It just sucked. And I think that because people were so concerned about what I ate and what I was eating and how much I ate, it made me cling to food even more. Well, food is not talking about me. I'm going to eat all this food. Yes, I am going to have seconds, and it's going to be a bigger plate than what I ate the first time. It just became a love-hate relationships. Like, even though I loved eating the food and it made me feel some type of way, I hated how it made me feel at times too. Like, dang, I just really ate all this. And it just brought me to sometimes a bad place. Like even that young, just seeing myself getting bigger and bigger, and then me just clinging more to food to cope with people bullying me, or to cope with the fact that I look different. It was a very toxic relationship. I've learned from an early age that I was a constant overeater. I would overeat all the time. Like I mentioned, yes, I ate just a huge helping this first time. It wasn't a question. I was going to get seconds, maybe even thirds. It just depend on how I felt at that time. Even now, I still tend to overeat. Even with my sleeve, I have to constantly remind myself, you're eating too much. You don't need to eat right now. My go-to reason for eating, number one, was because I was bored. I don't have nothing to do. Let me go look in the refrigerator. Oh, I don't have nothing to do. Let me go drive down here to Sonic or wherever to get me something to eat because I'm bored. Another reason why I felt like I overate was to cope with dealing with bullies, to cope with not liking how I looked or not liking how I felt after being bullied. So I kind of like cling to the fact that, man, this food is never going to hurt me, even though it really was. But I had developed this relationship where food is not talking about me, so I can lean on it. Food is not judging me for my size. Food is not looking at me like I'm different. My go-to foods, definitely sweets, ice cream, cakes, cookies, pies, chocolate. Those were my go-to foods, definitely, while coping. Just anything that tastes good. I was eating it. So it just made it really tough growing up because people were constantly watching what I ate to where I had to sneak and hide to eat what I wanted. Like if I really wanted to eat more, I would have to hide and eat it in the privacy of my, in my room, or I would wait till everybody went to sleep and here I am going in the refrigerator because I didn't want to be judged for what I ate. And it's really sad that I had to do that because one, I shouldn't have been doing that, but two, it just shows how it played with my psyche to where I was always worried about what people were saying about me, that I had to hide the fact that I was eating so much. Even though everybody saw it because I was gaining weight and I was getting bigger and bigger, I still hid that. Like, man, I don't want everybody to see how much I'm eating. Or even being at the lunch table at school and having people like watching you eat. I was very self-conscious of that. Like, are they judging me of how much I ate, or I really just ate a tray and then got some snacks out the snack line? What are they saying? What are they saying about me? Some people would say things like, damn, you eating again? Are you gonna eat all that? I think the reality check was in high school, I got voted most greedy. Yep, I got voted that by my class. And it was definitely, I had to laugh to keep from crying. It was that sad. I had to laugh to keep from crying. So I can honestly say now I have a definitely better relationship with food. It's touch and go. I still have to constantly monitor what I eat. One of the reasons why I decided to get weight loss surgery, because I was an overeater. This is a tool to help me not overeat. So I know everybody, especially my sleevers out there, my former plus size people, y'all understand that food was definitely a major part of me growing up fat. It was definitely a major part.